There are moments that define you, not because they're loud, but because they're true. She said one sentence to me, just one. And in that moment, everything I believed about myself shattered, not with anger, with clarity, brutal, undeniable clarity. I had been lying to myself for months, maybe years, and in one sentence, she exposed it. Today, I'm going to tell you what she said and why it changed everything, not just between us, but inside me. Because some truths don't just end relationships. They end versions of yourself you can never return to. Before I tell you what she said, you need to understand who she was. Not her name. That doesn't matter. What matters is what she represented. She was the person I chose, not the person chosen for me. Not the arrangement, not the structure. The one relationship in my life that existed because I wanted it to. That distinction was everything, because in my world choice is rare. Almost everything is decided for me, where I go, what I say, who I marry. But her, I chose, and that choice made the relationship feel different, real in a way nothing else was. She didn't see the crown prince first, she saw me. The person I am when duty isn't performing, the one who questions, who doubts, who feels too much and hides it constantly. She saw that person and she stayed anyway for a while until she couldn't anymore. Our relationship existed in the margins, in stolen moments, in time I carved out between obligations, in spaces where observation didn't reach. It wasn't ideal, but it was possible, and for a long time I told myself that was enough, that love could survive in fragments. That connection didn't need consistency, just intensity. I was wrong. But I didn't realize it yet. I thought she understood, that she accepted the limitations, that she knew my life was complicated and chose to stay anyway. And she did understand. At first, but understanding has a shelf life, especially when it's one-sided. I started noticing changes, small ones. Her responses took longer, her availability shrank. The warmth I was used to cooled, not into hostility, into distance. I tried to fix it. I made more time. I explained the pressures I was under. I reassured her that she mattered, that this, us, mattered. But reassurance without change is just words. And words, after a while, stop meaning anything. She was pulling away, and I was trying to hold on, without actually changing anything. Without giving her what she actually needed. Presence, consistency, a future. I couldn't give those things, not without dismantling everything else. So I gave excuses instead, and excuses, no matter how valid, are still just excuses. The conversation happened on a normal day. Nothing dramatic led up to it. No fight, no betrayal, just accumulated exhaustion on both sides. We were talking about nothing important, about plans that would probably never happen, about a future I kept referencing but never actually building. And then she stopped me. Mid-sentence, she looked at me, not with anger, with exhaustion, and she said, "You're not choosing me, you're delaying losing me." And I can't tell the difference anymore. The room went silent, not because I had nothing to say, but because she had said everything. Everything I had been avoiding, everything I had been hiding from, everything I knew was true but refused to admit. I wasn't choosing her, I was managing her, keeping her close enough to feel connected, but distant enough to avoid consequences. I was postponing the decision, not making it, and postponement, when it lasts long enough, becomes its own answer. That sentence, those words, cut through every excuse I had built, every rationalization, every "I'm doing my best," because she was right. I wasn't doing my best. I was doing the minimum required to keep her from leaving, while never actually giving her a reason to stay. That sentence destroyed me, not because it was cruel, but because it was true. And truth, when you've been avoiding it, is devastating. I had convinced myself I was being honest, that I was managing an impossible situation as well as anyone could. That loving her while fulfilling duty was a noble struggle, but she showed me something I didn't want to see, that I wasn't struggling, I was stalling. I was keeping her in limbo, not because I couldn't choose, but because I was choosing just not her. I was choosing comfort, choosing to avoid confrontation, choosing to keep both worlds without committing to either. And that cowardice, that comfortable, quiet cowardice, was destroying her. She wasn't asking me to abandon duty. She was asking me to be honest, to stop pretending this could work, to stop giving her hope I had no intention of fulfilling, to either choose her fully, visibly, with consequences, or let her go, and I couldn't do either, so I did neither, and that neither was killing the relationship slowly. She saw it, I didn't until she said it out loud, and then I couldn't unsee it. After she said that, something inside me broke, not emotionally, structurally. The story I had been telling myself collapsed. I could no longer pretend I was doing enough. I could no longer believe that love alone was sufficient. I could no longer avoid the truth that I was never going to choose her. Not because she wasn't worth it, but because I was never going to choose anything over duty. I was built that way, raised that way, programmed that way, and no amount of love could override that programming. I tried to respond, to explain, to defend myself, but every word felt hollow because she was right and we both knew it. So I stopped talking and I just listened. She didn't yell, she didn't accuse, she just explained calmly, clearly, why she couldn't do this anymore, why waiting for me to choose was destroying her, why she needed to choose herself, even if that meant walking away. And I couldn't argue, because arguing would have required offering something different, a real plan, a real commitment, a real future, and I didn't have that. I never did. So I let her go. Not because I wanted to, but because she was right. She deserved someone whose life had room for her, and mine didn't, not really, not in the way that mattered. That sentence didn't just end the relationship, it ended a version of myself, the version that believed I could have both, that believed I could manage competing loyalties indefinitely, that believed good intentions were enough. They're not. I learned that love without action is just sentiment, that presence without consistency is just performance, that caring without commitment is just convenient. And I had been convenient, loving her when it was easy, disappearing when it was hard, asking her to wait without ever actually arriving. That realization was brutal, because it forced me to see myself clearly, not as the victim of impossible circumstances, but as someone who chose comfort over courage, who chose avoidance over honesty, who chose to keep her in limbo rather than face the truth that I was never going to choose her, not because duty forced my hand, but because I valued duty more, and that value system, that priority was mine, not the palace's, mine. And owning that was the hardest part. I carry that sentence with me still. You're not choosing me, you're delaying losing me. It plays in my mind whenever I face a decision, whenever I'm tempted to postpone, whenever I start building comfortable excuses, because that sentence taught me something I'll never forget, that inaction is still a choice, that delay is still an answer, that silence is still a statement, and all of them communicate the same thing, that whatever you're delaying, you've already decided against, you just haven't admitted it yet. I didn't choose her, I chose duty. I just took months to admit it. And in those months, I hurt someone who deserved better, someone who loved me enough to tell me the truth, even when the truth meant losing me. That kind of honesty is rare, and I wasted it, not intentionally, but through cowardice, through the comfortable lie that waiting was the same as trying. It's not. And she taught me that. at a cost I'll carry forever. She said one thing to me, one sentence, and it changed everything, not because it was harsh, but because it was true. It exposed the lie I had been living, the lie that I was doing my best, that I was caught between impossible choices, that I was a victim of circumstance. I wasn't. I was choosing every day, just not her. And that choice, that quiet, cowardly, comfortable choice, destroyed something real. I don't blame her for leaving. I blame myself for making her wait, for pretending there was hope, for delaying a decision I had already made. She deserved honesty, and I gave her excuses. She deserved commitment, and I gave her fragments. She deserved someone whose life had room for her, and I gave her margins. That's not love, that's selfishness. And her one sentence, and the one that changed everything, forced me to see it. I'm better now, not healed, but aware. I don't pretend anymore. I don't delay. I don't ask people to wait when I know I'll never arrive, because I learned the cost, and it's too high. That's what she gave me, not forgiveness, clarity. And clarity, even when it destroys you, is better than living inside a lie. If this story moved you, I hope it reminds you of something important. That honesty, even painful honesty, is kinder than comfortable delay. And that choosing is better than postponing. Even when the choice breaks your heart,